YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back with my divisional round score predictions, predicting the score to all four games. Take a look at the spreads on these games as well. At the end, I'll kind of recap my against the spread picks, my thoughts on those. So only 4 games this week, only going to be 2 the next week. Then we're on to the Super Bowl, but we're here every step of the way with our predictions. We have a bunch of playoff content on the channel. Check it out. There's a playlist full of it. We also have some off-season content rolling out. More to come out as well very soon. So join us, like, subscribe, to notifications on. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. Bonus content on Twitter, especially for our super followers there. Link pinned in the comments for that Twitter, as well as our sponsors, GLD Shop, Liquid IV, code GOAT. Check it out. We much appreciated. So here's our Twitter, super followers / Twitter subs. Got these bonus videos last week where I kind of played like a matchup game, and whoever won the matchup of each of these videos I made actually won their matchup. So these went undefeated. My picks didn't go undefeated last week, only lost 1. But the matchup game I played for our Twitter super followers or subscribers, they're calling it now, the winner of those won every single game. So I'll be doing it again this week. And there's more content where that came from for those subscribers. First game, Jags and Chiefs. Chiefs favored by a whopping 8.5, and I do have them covering it. It's a little tricky though because the Jags are pretty balanced. You know, they can score on you with the pass game, the run game. They play pretty solid all around on defense, stop and run against the pass as well. But the Chiefs are a different animal here after that emotional win for the Jags last week with that comeback. It's going to be tough to deal with the Chiefs offense. The Jags most definitely cannot start the way they did last week, or they will get completely blown out. They will not come back. I don't think they'll start that bad, but there is a chance where they're, coming off that crazy win, they're a little shaky maybe. I think the Chiefs with their pass offense, and you got to worry about so many different things, even McKinnon, Pacheco at the running back position and what they can do. The defense is continuing to get better. In terms of the secondary, the pass rush, they're stopping a run better than ever. So I like the Chiefs here, taking care of business, 30-20. Maybe a reason to not pick the Chiefs scoring 30 is maybe they get a good lead and hey, they'll be confident with not blowing a lead like the Chargers, and then kind of focus on saving stuff for next week, whether it's the Bills or the Bengals, and maybe a tougher matchup. 2 teams they lost to this year, so. But I'm going to go with the Chiefs, 30-20, beating the Jaguars. The Jaguars have a shot, I think, mainly because they're so balanced, with how they can beat you. I think these receivers like Christian Kirk are getting better. Engram's getting better. There's just so many ways they could beat you, and they take the ball away on defense. And, Mahomes doesn't turn it over a ton, but he has kind of those games where he turns it over a little bit, and that could cost them. So, you never know there. But I like the Chiefs 30-20. They are favored by 8.5. That's a close call there. Could see it being a touchdown game for sure. Perhaps there. Second game, Giants and Eagles. The Eagles are favored by 7.5. It's Giants plus 7.5 at Eagles is kind of how the layout of the graphic is. I'm going to go with the Eagles 26-20, so not quite covering that 7.5. That seems like a bit. Giants look like they improved maybe going into last week or last week's game. It's a little bit different of a matchup, though, going against the Vikings defense and then going against the Eagles defense. I think this could be a lot of running clock. Actually, this is a decent amount of scoring for the amount of running clock, I think, with Jones and Barkley running, with Hurts and Miles Sanders and that group running as well. I got the Eagles doing just enough. How will they be after the bye? How will Hurts be in the playoffs? Last year he struggled big time. He seems like a whole different quarterback this year, but let's see for sure here. So I can see the Eagles pushing the ball. Maybe the Giants' red zone defense clutch it up, and the Eagles getting more field goals and touchdowns there. But I'm confident with the Eagles just because they got the rest in Philadelphia. It's the Giants played well last week. It's a totally different type of matchup. Even though like the Eagles aren't like light years better than the Vikings, maybe the defense definitely is. So that's kind of the situation there. So it's a little bit different. Not going to be able to do some of the same things they did last week. They may focus on the ground. They seem like they were saving it last week, and there's some teams that move the ball in the Eagles' defense. They're really able to pound the football, so that could be the key for the Giants. But I think the Eagles' defense gets their hands on the ball. Maybe at least once, maybe twice. Not a crazy amount of times, but I'm going to go Eagles 26-20. They handled the Giants during the regular season. Sometimes difficult to beat a team 3 times. The last time they played them, the Giants did have their backups in, though. I think it could be a good game here. 26-20, I was surprised the line was that much. But again, the matchup favors the Eagles. That's kind of why when they both play their starters, they blew them out the first time. So maybe that's why the spread's high. But we will see. Should be a fun NFC East matchup. Sunday games, the Bengals and the Bills, tough one. I was surprised it was as high as 5.5. The Bengals are underdogs by 5.5. I do have the Bills winning. I got them winning by 3, so the Bengals covering that. The Bengals, when they last time they played, which was not too long ago, and the game got canceled, the Bengals looked really good in the start of that game. They scored very easily. It was off the script. Maybe they were starting to move the ball again, though. It's tough to judge off that game. Both teams looked a little sloppy last week in games that they should have had no problem with. Maybe they were focused on this game. Very possible. Why picking the Bills? It's a 50-50 game, but two things. The Bills are at home. That definitely helps in the playoffs. And then number 2, the Bengals a little beat up on the offensive line. We saw, Will Capel return. Jonah Williams got hurt last game. So those things are obviously tough. And then Leo Collins being out as well. So that's pretty tough for the Bengals. The Bills don't present the craziest pass rush, though. They are missing Von Miller, but I think the Bills do just enough. This was in Cincinnati. Maybe the Bengals I'd pick. If it was still in Buffalo and the Bengals had their offensive line, I'd probably be picking the Bengals, actually, even away. But if the Bills had Von Miller, I'd be going with the Bills. So guys being out of this game is pretty big. And I guess the easiest way to beat the Bengals is just get the pass rush on them because they don't have the strongest offense line, even more so now because it's beat up. But the Bills got to do a better job getting after the quarterback. Ed Oliver does a pretty good job, been doing a pretty good job in the interior, saw that last game. So maybe somebody steps up. Maybe somebody steps up in there. They were blitzing a little bit more last game too, so maybe they bring the blitz, but Burrow seems to beat the blitz. But I'm going to go 27-24. I actually wanted to go more of a shootout. It's going to be pretty damn cold, and it could snow in this game. So both teams are capable of playing in that equally, but it does slow some things down in terms of rapid-fire points, getting big plays down the field and scoring instantly. I was surprised by the 5.5, though. I'm going to go Bills 27-24, which should be a very fun game. And then Sunday Night Football, Cowboys, Niners. The Niners are favored by 4. I have them winning by 3, so really close there. I could see the Cowboys winning this, so it might be a little more comfortable for me going with the Cowboys +4 than the Niners -4. I could see 2 scenarios. Or 3 scenarios. I could see this, what most of us are expecting the Niners, kind of like last year. It was kind of close. Niners had control of most of the game. Maybe a little closer this year because it's Purdy instead of Garoppolo. I think most of us are kind of thinking that, but I also could see the Cowboys winning in a very close game just because maybe they take the ball away from the Niners and they maybe have just a little bit more explosiveness on offense. Or I could see the Niners just destroying the Cowboys. The Cowboys getting the momentum after last week, but going from the Bucs to the Niners, a little bit different, in a defense that can create the turnovers on Dak and maybe slow down that offense while they, the Niners, it seems like you could run even though the Cowboys have a good defense, you can run the ball on the Cowboys, and the Niners are maybe the best in football doing that. So they could just dominate them on the ground, give the Cowboys offense limited chances. Their defense, Niners that is, takes advantage of that, and they win big. I could see that scenario as well. I'm going to pick the Niners 23-20 though. Mainly, I think their run game has success, and they control the clock, which is the main thing. Give the Cowboys less chances, and their defense does just enough there. But the Cowboys were damn impressive last week. It is Brock Purdy. He struggled a little bit in the first half against Seattle. He tried to give them some takeaways. They didn't really take them. The Cowboys will take advantage of that. Dan Quinn will probably draw something up, have something planned for a Brock Purdy offense to try to capitalize, take the ball away. So I definitely could see the Cowboys for that reason. So I think it stays close, maybe similar to last year. I think the Cowboys play a little better offensively than last year. But the Niners defense is probably even better now, I'd say. This should be a really good game. I can argue both sides, but I'm going to go Niners 23, Cowboys 20. And against the spread picks, Chiefs I have covering the 8.5. That is a lot, though, for a divisional round playoff game. So a little careful with that one, but I did have them winning by 10. Giants, 7.5 seems like a bit. It is a little scary because when the one time these teams played each other, when the Giants were hot and the Eagles seemed a little more vulnerable than they did at that time, previously at the time, the Eagles end up whomping them. It just seemed like a matchup problem. So maybe the Eagles beat them up pretty good again. Maybe that's what Vegas is thinking here, or it makes you, maybe it's a trap here. You think the Giants can't lose by 7 or more than that, so you take that plus 7.5. So that feels like it could be a trap game. It just seems like a lot of points. I don't know. And it's still up in the air how the Eagles they will play. Bengals plus 5.5. I could argue the Bengals could win that game just as much as the Bills. I think the Bills will win by 3, but I think it could go either way. It should be really tight back and forth. So 5.5 just seems like a lot. So I think that's kind of the best one there where the Bengals could win. And if they lose, it shouldn't be by more than 3. So the 5.5 looks pretty good. And the Cowboys +4, I wouldn't touch that one. I have the Niners winning by 3, so as you can tell, it's pretty damn close there. Wouldn't touch it. I can see the Cowboys winning. If you're one of those people that are just confident with the Cowboys, then you probably like the +4 of the money line. But there's a scenario where the Niners just dominate the clock, run the football, get a turnover or 2 on defense, and then, hey, they win 20-10 or something like that, where it's just draining clock, and it's, I doubt the Cowboys only score 10 points, but yeah, that should be a good game. I think it's the toughest one to pick. But Bengals game, maybe the Cowboys game, one of the toughest ones to pick. Extra bets on our Twitter for our sub/super followers. Did prop bets last week. More of those or anything else that I'm feeling that stands out to me. And then we have those extra clips that are about 2 minutes, kind of playing the matchup game. Again, they went undefeated last week where, who has the better quarterback, put it over with that team, best run D, best playmakers, best coaching. And then whoever had more of those last week, those teams went undefeated. So I'm excited to do it again for our Twitter super followers here. Check out that Twitter though. If you don't super follow, you just follow us like the normal way. We got a lot of extra content, news, rumors, updates, things like that. So check it out. Any link you're looking for, pin in the comment section. We have full coverage here on the channel. So join us, like, subscribe to notifications on. But that is going to wrap up this one. It's kind of sad that there's only 4 games to break down. But hey, we got other content to get to. So that'll do it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.